time for guitar. Let's get going on this. Today we are, well, let me go grab the link and I'll go post it on the website. The link, or the website that you need is denverguitarorchestra.com, and on there on the front page you'll see our weekly schedules, and I'm putting this right spot. I am. Bold, link, enter, edit, settings, open link in new window, update. So that'll get people headed this direction. And then I like to post it on Twitter, denverguitarorchestra.com, and then I put on our little logo, guitar, I hit tweet, and it does. There's no purpose in that whatsoever, but it makes me feel like we're more international that way. And I'm double checking that the link is working properly. Click on there. It should open up to lesson number 382. Can you believe that? All right, so today I'm going to do some singing and strumming. Guys, I'm going to be singing. You may want to close your ears. Second thing, in book 2, Pay Me My Money Down. We'll play through that, and then we'll take a look at Simple Gifts. One of my favorite songs ever. Book 3, we only have 2 players tonight, no studying. We got plenty on our hands with Für Elise and Heidenröslein. Both of those are pretty challenging tunes. And then in the classical tract, I put up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs out of book RCM, the Royal Conservatory of Music's book 0. And so we're almost done with that book. If I remember right, there's only 3 songs left, which means we will have done the decision in my life that I'm going to only play guitars that make me happy. And if a guitar doesn't make me happy, I'm getting rid of it. And so that's my plan. Hey Vic, hey LG, can hear you. Sound is good. Can hear you. Just hear. Oh, you're not looking. Okay, don't look, because I'm going to be singing. And you don't want to hear either. All right, is it 6? It's 6. Let's get going. Now I am frozen. I look fine from this end. I got an excellent connection. I have sound set up. I wonder if you got something going on with your internet, LG, because I think I'm fine. Vic, let us know. Video froze for a second. It's fine now. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to assume we're fine until you guys tell me otherwise. You never can tell with this thing. All right, I look like I'm fine. So, all right, let's go grab the strumming book. And unfortunately, that means that you're about to hear me sing. And so kind of brutal. Let's run through what would happen if you wrote your own song. The first thing you're going to do, I teach everybody this their very first song because I think it's important. And this gets you into the 1-6-4-5 pattern, 1-6-4-5-7 pattern that so many songs are written on. And you don't have to do them necessarily in this order, but they're in a really convenient order to make easy work of your songwriting. Grab your A chord and give that a pluck. Okay? Or a strum, either one. If you pluck, remember your thumb is on the A string. Okay? Your next one that you're going to be getting to is F sharp minor. And this is really hard when you're brand new to guitar. Bar on 2, ring and pinky up on 4. You're probably going to sound like this. And that's how you do an F sharp minor right now. One day, you'll be able to get a little bit better down. Get that? It's not unimportant that when you have this bar on, this note that you're holding down here is an F sharp. Okay, so you can play from the 6th string. Okay, next note is a D chord. That's straight out of your book. And again, try to use the 4th string, which is your D, as your bass. If you hit the 5th string, it's fine. Okay, and then when you're on D, your index finger slides straight back. That's now anchored where E7 needs to be. And then I usually put on a regular E chord and then lift my ring finger up afterwards. And the top note when it's open is an E string, so you can play all 6 strings. Okay, so with each chord, you're trying to just use the strings you need. A chord has 5 strings. If you hit the 6, that's okay. F sharp minor has 6 strings. Okay, D chord has 4 strings. If you have 5, it's okay. Slide back, hit your E7, that's all 6. And you'll see on the little chord chart there on the book, A, F sharp minor, D, and E7. I've been pretty clear what you can do with the open notes, right? On the A chord, there's a little diamond there. It says, yeah, probably don't want to hit it, but it's okay if you do. F sharp minors, it's all, you hit all the strings. D says, okay to hit the 4th string, not so great to hit the 5th string. Please don't hit the 6th string when you're on D chord. Because then what happens is you end up with an E floating around inside of a D chord, and it just doesn't get along. It just creates a kind of a weird tension. It's not ideal. And then E7, there's lots of open strings. Okay, so we're going to go round and round and round for a little bit. Okay, and do what you can. If you probably, I would start with just 1 strum per 4 beats. Okay, so let's do that first. Grab your A chord. I'm going to count to 4, and then we're going to go to F sharp minor. A, 2, 3, 4. F sharp minor. 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. E7, 2, 3, 4, and A, 2, 3, 4. F sharp minor. 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4, E7, 2, 3, 4. Now try plucking or strumming, it doesn't matter which, on the first 3 beats, and then on the 4th beat, that's when you make your move. Okay, so 3 beats of noise, and then skip a beat, so that that's when you change your chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4, F sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, E7, 2, 3, 4, and A, 2, 3, 4, F sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, and D, 2, 3, 4, E7. One more time around. And A, 2, 3, 4, F sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, and D, 2, 3, 4, E7, 2, 3, 4, and A. And then you always, whatever, if you start on A, you want to end on A. That way you have nice bookends for your song. Now, let's try it even harder. Let's see if we can get all 4 strums in. I'll go a little slower so you can get all 4 beats in before you switch your chord. If you can't do it, you can't do it, and that's fine. Some chords I would probably go to more earlier than others. F sharp minor, I'd probably almost always leave on that 3rd beat, right? But I know I can get D on, so I can do all 4 of the F sharp minors because I know D is going to be there, as is E7. Okay, so 4 beats. See if you can do them a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Duke, 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 Duke of Earl. 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 2, 3. Duke of Earl. 2, 3. Duke of Earl. 2, 3. Duke of Earl. Last time here. 3, 4, and okay. So that's a really effective thing to just go through that over and over and over. And by the way, if you're comfy with the circle of fifths or you know chords in other keys, you could do it in other keys. Let's say that you wanted to do it in the key of G. Then you just need to figure out what your other chords are. So in this case, it's going to be G, A, B, C, and D, and then your sixth is going to be E minor. So you're going to go G, E minor, C, and D. Okay, same thing. G, and I'll just do it, and then you can practice this later. G, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, D, 7, 2, 3, 4, Duke, 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 Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke, Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke, Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke, Duke of Earl. Okay, so again, you can go through each of the chord rotations, and that's going to just get your fluency up with chord playing. Now, obviously, not necessarily a book one skill, but transposing into other keys is something that you probably want to do, especially if you play with singers. They never are in whatever song you have in front of you. That's not the key they want to do it in, and so you do it in a different key. All right, let's run through a couple of the one chord songs, but not really very many. Let's grab A for Frere Jacques. Okay, we'll just do it real quick. Just one verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, brother John? Brother John. Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. Okay. Idea there is one time I was plugging. Okay. One time I was strumming, and one time I was arpeggio picking. Okay, do the same thing with Three Blind Mice. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Okay. So practicing your right hand. When you're working on your right hand, you're going to end up, the big key is just make sure you stay in good timing with the beat. You can do whatever you want over here as long as beat number 1 is where it's supposed to be. And that is actually kind of fun, right? All right. Now let's go on to songs that are more interesting. We talked a little bit about, in this booklet, the red headlines are one chord song, the blue headlines are 3 chord songs, and the green headlines are 2 chord songs. And there's a couple of purple ones which are 4 chord songs. So let's go to page 13. 13 has... at the bottom on 13 has Simple Gifts, which I just did in harmonica class, so we'll do that one. Okay, so Simple Gifts, 4/4, grab your A chord, and then you're going to go E7. I like to always spend just a minute thinking about what is my strategy. If I'm on A to get to E7, I just got to bring my index finger down 1 and bring those 2 guys up. Get rid of him for the 7th. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place that is right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we won't be ashamed. To turn, turn and turn, it will be our delight, till by turning and turning we come round right. Okay, so again, I was doing one thing in the first verse, something different in the second verse with my right hand. Practice all that stuff. I know sometimes I sound like a broken record, but really playing all that stuff in different ways is super important. Let's see. let's take a look. Let's go back to page 12. This is my favorite song in this booklet, I think. And so now, when you're in 3/4, you have to be a little bit smarter, right? So you can do, if you're arpeggio plucking, on top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. 3, 1, and 2, 3. But that's a little bit boring, right? And so you might think about plucking, when you're in 3, plucking 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. I would try that on this one. If that's too complicated or too much, which it can be, then just do your regular plucking. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you can always strum 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Any of those will be fine. I'm going to try arpeggio plugging. And as I'm sure I might have mentioned this, if you're listening to the recording and you don't know me, I'm aware that I cannot sing. From the top, 2-beat count in, and then we hit on. 1, 2. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table and onto the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. It rolled down the gutter and under a bush, and now my poor meatball is nothing but mush. Got the timing wrong on there. The rains came and soaked it as wet as can be, and early next summer it grew to a tree. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew lovely meatballs, all covered in sauce. If you eat spaghetti all covered in cheese, hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. Okay, so I always tell people that's a song of hope, right? So the spaghetti, the bad thing happens to your meatball, but then a good thing happens, right? So it's a little yin and yang there. I'm not positive the conclusion, if you eat spaghetti all covered in cheese, hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. That's not the correct answer after it turns out you got a spaghetti tree out of it. If you eat spaghetti all covered in cheese, don't hang on to your meatballs. Go ahead and sneeze. And let's see how we do it on time. Probably good enough for today. Let's do this book one more week, and why don't you two each pick a favorite song for next week that we will play together. So look through the book. Recommendations, I would say You Are My Sunshine is always a hit. Vive la Compagnie is actually pretty fun to play. I would say Clementine. It goes on for a while, but it's pretty funny. Danny Boy, of course, I always like that one. The Ears Hang Low, that's fun to do with kids. Kookaburra will get you all 4 of your chords. Might want to do that one. And let's see, I'm a Little Teapot. I always love doing that one. I'm Bringing Home a Baby Bumblebee. That's in there because that was my wife's sang that song in her sorority, if I remember right. Somehow she knew it. And of course, I've been working on the railroad. It's always fun. So why don't you, this week as you're looking through it, pick 1 or 2 songs out, and we'll do which ones you guys want to do next week. And then we'll be done with book 1 for a little while. All right, good. There we go. Now, book 2. Let's go take a look at book 2. Book 2, we were going to play Play Me My Money Down, Pay Me My Money Down, and remember on this song, big thing that we're looking for is the percussion. So if you're playing melody, which is fine, right? So just put in that percussion. Use your thumb or your front of your palm. You can tap on the sixth string, get that sound, or just knock with your thumb. Knock with these things. I find usually just my thumb knocking up against the body seems to be the least disruptive to everything else going on. But find a way to add some percussion in. I'm going to play the tough axe, and if you want to play the chords and sing, obviously do that as well. You should do that on every song no matter what. All right, I'm going to play the tough axe, play down to measure 18, come back to the top, play it again. And if it's going well, we'll do it twice. If it's not going so well, we'll do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 4-beat count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with that one, really, it's not a great song, but it is actually a pretty useful song in the sense that, I'm going to get my page turned around, a huge problem on this song. Switching from A to E7 is going to be a very regular thing you have to do in fingerstyle guitar, and you're going to be adding that pinky on. So you're grabbing that E chord and adding that pinky on right there. That's going to be a very normal thing to have to do, and so this is a great song to practice that. All right, beautiful. That's good enough. We don't need to spend a ton of time on that one. Let's talk about simple gifts. This is for the song for the week, and we just sang it, right? So now let's make it way more complicated. You got your A chord and your E chord. In the little booklet, I use an E7, but in here I use an E. So just a little less tension. If you don't know the tune, some people call it the Lord of the Dance, and it's been used in several different movies and that type of stuff. But go listen to the MP3. It's got a 3-beat count in. Let's play just. Actually, we can go ahead and play the tough acts. If you want to play melody along with me, that's fine. But we'll go nice and slow, just so you can hear how it goes, and then you'll spend the week working on this one. It's a really very pleasant little tune. From the top, 1, 2, 3. There at all. I think it'd be much better to have an A on here and 15. Where's my 15? There it is. So one of these days I'll fix that harmonic, but that harmonic you can ignore that harmonic. It doesn't sound that great. It should be a 13, 14, 15, 16. It should be a 17 on 1. So you should put an A note on, which is right there, A, and then go up to your 17th fret and do your harmonic there. The way when you're holding down a fret, you have to use your index finger, you put it on the top of the 17th fret, and then pluck it with your thumb, right? It's a skill all in on its own. It should be 17 on first string with an not a natural harmonic but an artificial harmonic there. And so nice little piece of music. I would say if you were a singer, I'm just thinking in terms of arpeggio picking. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find our right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for every measure really is going to make that sound really nice. And I would probably just camp out on the 4 middle strings to get the chords done. And then the melody, of course, always play through the melody because there'll come a time when you decide, you know what, I'm going to get where I can really, really play melody in my sleep so that I can join the orchestra and it'll go easy as pie. All right, work on that this week. Then let's go take a look at it. We got a tough go from here out. Let's grab Für Elise out of book 3. Für Elise, this is our 3rd week on it, and I think this will be enough for it. Remember with Für Elise that when you're done here in ensemble play, go home and make it your own, right? Make it whatever speed you want it to be. But we'll all agree to mess it up pretty good here, and then work on this at home. I would say if you could play this on guitar at any level you're at, people would be like, oh, you're a good guitar player. Here we go, from the top. 2-beat countdown, and then we'll go 1 and 2 and. Page 2. That's fine. Hardest part, obviously, measure 11, right? Getting that little seventh shape on. Okay, it's really a weird D7 you're playing here. So yeah, works pretty good. I think the song sounds great with that D7 there. It's just a weird shape that you have to memorize. Good. All right, so that's it for Elise. See ya, Beethoven. All right, next up, let's take a look. We talked about Heidenröslein last week, and so hopefully you had a chance to look at it. E, F, G, Heidenröslein. Again, this is a song that my neighbor down the hall, it was her dad's favorite song, and she's 96, so this was a while back that it was his favorite song. So the big thing, always the one part that we have to review when we get to measure 6 is going to get pretty nasty. You're coming out of this A chord, and you're going to take your middle finger, drop it to the 2, and then 1 and 3 with these other ones. You can hit the 4th string here if you want. It's a little bit of more of a modern feel to the chord than just a plain old C sharp. Pick up your middle finger and then slide these 2 forward, and again you can hit that 5th string if you want. Okay, I think it's a 4th string, 5th string. Okay, and then it kind of helps resolve it a little bit. So I'm perfectly, it doesn't fit in the chord perfectly, but it gives a very cool tension moment if you hit those open 5th string in both of the first chord in measure 6 and the 2nd chord in measure 6. Just gives it a more complete feeling to it. Everything else on this is either A's, E's, or D's, and so the rest of it's going to make pretty much sense to you. Let me see how we do. A lot of people that I teach this to, they really like it. I would say thumb down on this one just to get that nice schmaltzy, beautiful, old school German feel to it. Not fast at all. 1, 2. E chord. All right, let me know which one you'd rather keep. You want to do another week with Für Elise, or do you want to do another week with Heidenröslein? We can get rid of one or the other, and then we'll bring in whatever comes next in the list for book 3. So let me know which one you like better, and we'll keep that, and then we will toss out the other one. So Für Elise or Heidenröslein for next week. You tell me. All right, and then so. Say Heidenröslein. The better song than Für Elise. All right, let's go take a look at book, the classical book. If you're just doing book 1, 2, and 3, you're done. Go forth, with peace and love. And let me reload this so I can get the new songs up. I played through them all today, but I did not post them into my machine yet. So. What we're going to be working on in the classical group here is thumb as your melody instrument. So in other words, we're going to be doing stuff with your chords all night and for the next 20 minutes. We're going to be doing some arpeggio stuff and some chord stuff, but the thumb is going to have the melody almost I think in every song except the Sagreras piece. So I think we're all going to be all about the thumb, all about that thumb. All right. This is pretty, but Vic, that doesn't answer the question. All right, we'll keep it for Elise. We'll bump Heidenröslein. All right, yes. All right, for Elise, one more week, and with Für Elise, I think the key is play it as fast as you can and keep it clean, right? And so basically that means however fast you can get on that chord will determine how fast you play that song. All right, let's talk about the Arpeggio Study number 1 by Reginald Smith Brindle. When you look at it, the standard notation, you're like, oh yeah, quite clearly an arpeggio, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And when you look at the standard or the tablature, you're like, oh well, that's a lot of zeros. So I'll be fine. The key with something like this is whatever does the moving, that's your melody. And in this case, it's always going to be your thumb that does the moving. So you want to make sure your thumb is louder than the 0, 0 that will come after it in every single moment. The other thing that I will point out is this. I went ahead and took the 3s off of all of the triplets. It's very obvious what's happening here, that those are all triplets. I made a note up there, thumb, index, middle, triplets. and then I took off because the threes were completely clogging this thing up with all these brackets and all this crazy stuff, and so I just turned them off. I think it's clearer and cleaner, and nobody would look at this piece of music and go, what am I supposed to do? There's 9 notes in the space of 3. They know there's triplets. Okay, so you would count it as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, and the quarter note equals 80, so that's not fast, but there's 3 quarter notes, so it is going to feel a little fast. 1 triplet, 2. If the beat is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you're going to be counting as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Now it gets pretty fast, so we'll play it slower than it's marked just to get comfortable with it. And I would say, as I was playing through it today, the few things that jumped out at me: 1, measure 4, measure 8, measure 9. They've got those little carets, right? And measure 14 and 15 as well. You want to play those notes a little louder than everything else. And it doesn't make a lot of sense in 4, but it's very clear why you would do it in 8 and 9. Those are accidentals. Those are A sharps hanging out in there, as some people would call them a B flat. In fact, in his original sheet music, he put a B flat, which meant he then had to naturalize the B, and it just made it for a real messy looking measure. I just made it an A sharp, same note, and then it cleans up the notation quite a bit. So I can see why you play louder. You want to tell your audience, hey, these are not mistakes. These are accidentals, and I'm supposed to play them this way. But I'm not sure what the other ones do. The other thing is, as you're coming into 17, you want to slow it down. Ral means slowing down gradually until you get to the end. Different computer programs treat it differently in different ways. Some people, retardando does that, slows it down until otherwise. But most of the time, retardando means we're just going to play slower at the same speed for a while now, but it's not clear at all. There's no correct answer. It's been used or misused by composers over the years, so it doesn't mean anything. And so you have to decide, what am I most likely supposed to do as I'm there? Well, you're supposed to slow it down gradually until the ending. The other thing that jumped out at me was measure 10. Every single thing in this, you're going along thumb, index, middle, and sort of working your way up and then working your way back down. And then all of a sudden in the middle of measure 10, your thumb has to leap a string, right? So it sounds cool when you do it, but it is like, what? And you're like, oh, okay, I just got to put it on the other string. Same thing happens in measure 13. Your thumb will precede your other fingers in getting back to where it needs to go. So let's give it a try. I will just count it as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, and we'll go about that pace, okay? And then just making sure that you get your fingers on your left hand where they're supposed to be. Here we go. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Measure 2. Up a string. So I missed a bunch of them there in the middle. So let's play it one more time. But that's what you're supposed to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you miss a note, you miss a note, and you keep on moving forward. Grabbed the wrong string in a couple of situations. So let's see if I can clean it up. Let's see if we can play a little better from the top. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet. So I would put that as definitely not the greatest study of all time. We're going to be working on the Giuliani Arpeggios. He wrote 120 of them, and they're really, really good. This one's okay. I see what they're after. They're trying to get you where you can get your thumb to be pronounced as the main idea here. But I don't know. This song is kind of boring. All right, so there's that one. Then so work on that one a little bit. Don't work on that one a ton. That one's not that great. And then let's go take a look at Gliding, which I actually really like this song for two reasons. One, it's not particularly hard to play. It gives you a chance to play in second position. But the last chord on this is hilarious. You're busy going along, just having a great time. You get to the end and you go bump, clank is how it ends. It is really funny. With this one, again, your thumb is the only thing that's moving. Otherwise, you're going to be playing a lot of zeros. So focus in on your thumb on these. And there it's in 3, and it's set up at 180. So you're supposed to be moving along lickety split. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We won't play it that fast, but that's what he would like you to do. Okay. For the first part of the song, it's your zeros on strings 3 and 2, and the second part of the song you're on strings 2 and 1, and then you go back to 3 and 2. Okay. Let's give it a try from the top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Whoops, sorry. Oh, I think I skipped a line. Did I skip a line? Where did I go? No wonder I was losing my mind. Let's start from the top. I think I skipped a line. 1, 2, 3. My brain. I get a little bit out of whack on this one, and then all of a sudden I can't do it. Let's go from 19. 1, 2, 3. To the top. Right, that's the whole reason to play that song. Play. So I was having a hard time finding my strings, but but you see what you're supposed to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, trying to keep your thumb the loudest thing in there and your index and middle finger the quieter, so that the melody comes out above all that other stuff. And also with this one, the faster you can play it, the better it sounds. Bum, 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 bum. Sounds kind of cool that way. So give that one a try. That's kind of a fun one. All right, then I posted, and the only reason I posted so many, guys, is we're 3 songs away from finishing this book, and I would love to have it done. A simple dialogue is actually, it looks like there's a lot on the page here, but it's really pretty straightforward, and so let's play it real quick. But the dialogue is between your right hand and your left hand. Now, he does say use M-I-M. He wants to be fairly prescriptive about which fingers you use on your right hand. Not a bad idea, right, to do what he says. On the other hand, if you don't do it, you don't do it. It's going to be fine. Okay, so simple dialogue. Don't be thinking chords. Think about just holding the one. You're just going to have to hold one note at a time, so no reason to overthink it. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. I forgot to mention in measure 15, there's a retardando. You're supposed to slow down, bom, 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 and then pick the pace back up. Let's try it one more time. And again, I'm trying to do alternating index and middle as much as I can, but I'm not losing a lot of sleep over it if it doesn't go well. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure that you hold down that 2 while you do those last 2 zeros so that you don't end up stepping on that long melody note there. I'm going to mark retardando with a yellow and a tempo with a yellow, a tempo, so that I can remember to do them next time. So that's a kind of a fun one, right? That one will do for an exercise. And then that way you get a chance melody on your upper fingers and melody on your lower fingers. So that's what it's in the book for. Wanted to talk Bagatelle really quickly. Another one where this one's not a thumb melody really. This one is more about these weird slightly modified chords that floating around in this thing. It sounds like very much like a 1970s movie to me. And so let's run through it real quick just so you can hear what it sounds like. It's kind of interesting. It's basically the chord, but not quite. And so you'll look at it and you'll be like, 0232, 032. Well, that's a D chord, but there's just not I'll leave that one note open. And so coming out of fingerstyle, this is no big deal. Like we do this stuff all the time. And so they're just slightly modified chords. The fun part about this song is just the overall tonality is not one I would ever pick to write a song with. So kind of fun that way. Also note that you're going to hit, it's in 3, 1, 2, 3, but almost at least the first 8 measures will have 2 notes in them. So you're going to treat them like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So you're going to, that downbeat is kind of important. Let's see how we do. From the top, 1, 2, 3. I goofed up. Let me start from the beginning. I didn't have my 2 down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, talk about this harmonic again. Probably since you've got a decaying chord right before that, which is whatever this is, you've got enough time to go ahead and abandon it up there, come up here, and get the 12 on the 4th string. That's the note they're looking for. Or, again, practice with your index finger above the 12th fret, thumb underneath, and like that. Long term is better if you can do it index finger with your thumb underneath, because then you can do artificial harmonics and you can do those at any time, anywhere. But in this case, if you want to just abandon the chord, come up here right above 12 and put your harmonic in there, that works too. The kind of weird chords in there, huh? I think for me there's not a ton of interesting learning here, but the sound is kind of neat. So there's that. Let me talk very quickly, since we're out of time, about good. The last piece that I posted. And guys, you don't feel like you got to get through everything this week. We may play everything for a couple of weeks on this. Lesson 61. I don't know if you guys remember, I had to audition to get into the school over here, and this is one of the songs I had to play. And so coming back to it is kind of interesting. I'm like, oh, I could totally play this now. So I did learn something at school. But the cleaned it up just a little bit, made it a little bit more in fitting to our current standard. I don't think, now that I look at it, that those chords are particularly helpful, but they're kind of helpful. And so using the chord shapes to inform your decision making about fingering throughout the rest of the piece is actually a pretty good idea. And I don't remember if we played this before or not, but it is Sagreras, and you guys know last couple of weeks we've been playing a little bit of him, and so it's just another one that's just got a really wonderful put together in a really wonderful way. So this is something to work on. If you're working this week and you're like, I don't like any of these studies, play this. This one is nice. Okay, let's see if we can do it together. And it's 132, so play it about 80. 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry. Play it one more time because I goofed up the beginning. Got off again. I would say at measure 23 it gets kind of interesting because you're really playing a D minor, right? 3, 2, 3, and then it sort of also wants to real hard be an F, right? So those guys are kind of fighting each other from a readability standpoint from the tab, but it's obviously clear when you look at the standard music. So let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. So this week I'll work on cleaning up 23, 24, 25, 26. That was kind of a mess every time I came through. But yeah, nice piece of music there. That's, again, Sagreras comes through for us. So hopefully we'll write that. So that should keep you busy. We probably won't do everything next week, right? We'll do some of them. Some of the dumber, I shouldn't say dumber, some of the less interesting art studies, we'll make them, play them once, get rid of them. But this piece here we'll keep for around for a little while. And then the last two pieces, or three pieces out of the book, I gotta see if I can pull them up real quickly. I'm going to hopefully have this week. And then we're done with book 0. So there's another piece by Shawn. The Ukrainian melody isn't as good as I hoped it was going to be. And then another Sagreras. So we've got lesson 48 coming from him. So there's 3 other pieces left I need to post. And then once we get through that, that means we've done 38 pieces of music out of that one book. And what I'll want to do is spend one day, well, I don't know, maybe a few days, just playing through everything and seeing which things make sense and which ones don't and which things I need to work on. And maybe you guys will help me with that and play through the entire book 0. And then, of course, you know what happens next. We head off into book 1, and the pieces get a little more hard and a little more interesting, hopefully. And yeah, there's plenty of studies in those too. So I'll try to sprinkle those in. By the time you get to book 2 on this, you got real legit music. In book 3, of course, they start to get pretty darn hard and pretty good. So we're not that far away from playing really great stuff. And I would say the Sagreras stuff is pretty great just as is, and it's we're just getting started. So thanks guys for being here. Hopefully you're having a great day. And I think that's it. That's all I know. Yeah, lovely way to spend an evening, right? Just playing some guitar. By the way, I did earlier today, or was it last night? I can't remember. I did go over to our classical page, and I just started playing down those songs, and I think I got the first 18 of them in or so, and just had a lovely time. And some of them are like, oh yeah, I forgot about this song, I hate that song, or oh, I love this song, or I hated this song when we did it, it's pretty good now, right? So it give you a chance to review where we've been, and so I think we'll do that, and just because it's good for us. And have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.